Hello, it's April the 28th, 2021. It says it's spring, but today the temperatures here in Pennsylvania, at least in this part of Pennsylvania, are a lot more summer-like. It's already approaching 80 degrees and it's not even noontime yet. Anyhow, welcome to episode 26 of Getting Back to Conversation. One of my good friends regularly listens to this podcast and asked me the other day, or made a comment. He says it seemed like last episode really didn't have anything to do with the overarching theme of your videos. I think actually he posed it in this form of a question. He goes, what did the topic of workism have to do with getting back to conversation? It's a valid question. And here's my explanation, if not really an answer. So in episode 24, entitled Where Are You?, I dealt with the issue of work and how sometimes work has a way of working its way into our lives, seeping into every area. And when we're at home, work is there. The result is we're not able to be present to our family or to others. We are physically someplace, but mentally and spiritually someplace else. Well, I had a lot to talk about in that episode about work, and so I realized that it was going to be too long, so I split the section on workism. I split that off into a separate topic, and that's what I dealt with last week. While not directly related to healthy and fruitful conversations, I felt that it was a worthy topic. So I hope that you found that episode interesting and thought-provoking. I believe it was, based on the comments that were posted last week and the conversations I've had with some of you since last Wednesday. So anyhow, here we are, episode 26, and we're going to deal with a topic that squarely fits in the realm of healthy and productive conversations. And that topic is knowingness. Let me repeat that, knowingness. What is that? I doubt you've used that word in conversation in the last week or so. Looking it up in your search engine, which some of you probably will be prone to do, may not be all that helpful. So let me offer my working definition of knowingness. Knowingness is really nothing more or nothing less than a know-it-all attitude. And we find it displayed by all sorts of people. Technology experts, elites in economic, social, and entertainment fields, and even adherents to certain conspiracy theories. Perhaps you've encountered one of these modern-day Gnostics who have a special knowledge that you don't have. You, the ignorant, the unknowing, have limited options in this case. You can either bow to their special knowledge and assume the posture of a student, a neophyte, or you can challenge or attempt to challenge or debate with this know-it-all and suffer the rebuff or rejection that is sure to come. That look, you just don't know. But I want to turn our attention today to the effects that knowingness might have on folks like you and me, folks that we don't assume that we're know-it-alls. My men's small group finished our discussion last night of Elizabeth Lash Quinn's book, Ars Vitae. In the final paragraphs of that book, Professor Lash Quinn writes about a kind of knowingness that is more likely to affect us all. She writes, "We have already decided what we think and what we know, what we think about other people and our world. This brings knowingness, which shuts down channels of communication by judging all questions closed and all answers given. She continues, when knowingness is applied to human beings, it means the end of curiosity about another person. It spells the passing of enchantment and awe, of the capacity to surprise. Listening is no longer needed because judgment has occurred. An attitude of prejudging, literally prejudice, against the other person suggests that the person is known with no room for change. As I read that quote, I thought of two different couples. One, a former student and her husband. They were married within the last year. They are learning and exploring. From everything I can see, there is still enchantment and awe as they grow together. There are seasons in our relationship when we are shoulder to shoulder. There are other seasons in our relationships when we are eye to eye. And I believe they are at that eye to eye stage, actually looking in each other's eyes and enjoying those face-to-face conversations. I have often counseled newlyweds that they need to know two things about each other: what makes their spouse tick and makes her or him ticked. A newlywed should be enrolled in the spouse of their, or the school of their spouse. They have so much to learn. The other couple I thought about was Cheryl and I. We were married in 1975. We've been married for 45 years. To be honest with you, there were seasons when there was awe and enchantment. Learning new things all the time. It was a daily occurrence. Our relationship was an adventure, always new things to explore. And there have been times when, I must confess, I had adopted a spirit of knowingness about Cheryl. I knew it all, or so I mistakenly thought. Why engage in conversation? Why adopt the posture of a learner when you know everything there is to know? There is a sort of pride that spells doom for a relationship. A stagnation sets in, and as I have learned, you can't live on a plateau for long. You either keep climbing or you begin to slide back down the mountain. So, let's get back to conversation. You don't know it all about your spouse, your children, your neighbors, your coworkers, your in-laws, your Facebook friends. Let us adopt the humility of a learner who is open to awe and enchantment. Let's listen. Let's ask questions. Let's be curious. Let's be open to surprise. Let's get back to conversation. That's the end of today's episode. I hope that you found it to be helpful, challenging perhaps. I'd love to hear your comments below. If you thought this was good, I'd encourage you to share it with others. And I'd also remind you that shortly this video will be placed on my YouTube channel. I'd encourage you to subscribe there. Well, again, that's it for today. I hope that you found this good and helpful. Let's get back to conversation.